Hey, welcome to the RobCast Podcast. I'm Dr. Robert Benson. This is where conversations are grounded in truth. Well, you guys all know, and if you know me, I'm a former military guy, and I am a firm believer in the United States being the strongest the country in the world, and whatever it takes to maintain that, I'm all for it. Who better can I get to come in and talk to me about it than a retired General Reuben Jones? What's up, General? How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Doc, how are you?
Good, good. It's good to see you again, and thank you for joining us on the RobCast Podcast.
Glad to be here.
Well, let's talk a little bit about yourself first. You are a retired Major General, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So, what led you to be the guy who wear all those stars? Talk to us.
Well, I think it was a lot of things, a combination of things, coming from a good base, having great parents who were always concerned about where I was and what I was doing to make sure that I was on the right side of the street. Moving on from that, I think having a firm uh, basis on what I wanted to do with my life. And that has always been about being in the military. I mean, no joke. Back from when I was in grade school, I always wanted to be a soldier. I wanted to be a sergeant, actually. And I
Okay.
followed that trail, and along with a lot of great help. And when people throw out the cliche, you stand on the shoulders of many, hey, that's exactly what happened to me, Doc. I have always stood on the shoulders of many.
Mhm.
They have been gracious with their time, their conversations, their guidance, and to this day, I try to pay that back. I try to pay it forward each opportunity I get. And again, I served 34 years
Mhm.
in the Army and enjoyed every single day but that last one. And that was a sad day for me, but guess what? Life goes on, and there are greater opportunities out there, but there's always a chance for anyone to give back.
I see. Sir, and forgive me, I'm going to call you sir because the military in me is creeping back in as I talk to you. I'm a retired E8 myself, so I lived it and I loved it myself. And the saddest day of my life in the military was my last day as well. But how did, or what was it that was your specialization when you were in? And talk a little bit about your transition into the civilian side of things, especially a guy that had the power that you did. How were you able to navigate this new landscape, if you will?
I was a Army personnelist
Mhm.
when I came into the Army, serving in some great places, doing some great things all around the world to the highest level of our government. Uh, However, once you get to the rank of general officer, you become, frankly, what it says, a general officer, meaning you can do anything. And that's what the Army put me to the test to be. And luckily, and being really blessed, I was able to climb that ladder
Mhm.
and do those things. But with all careers, I don't care what rank you get, you all have to transition. And my time came to transition. I had a lot of great options, and I decided that I was going to go to school.
Mhm.
I wasn't ready to go out in the world, so I went to the Professional Golfers Career College in Orlando, Florida. And after about 3 semesters, I decided it was time to go out and take advantage of my career goals and
Mhm.
my career background in order to, earn a little bit more, earn the money they told me that I could once I transitioned. And I did that and joined a government contracting firm, won a big, huge contract, and
Mhm.
played around in that world quite a bit. And then I actually went to work for the governor of Kentucky
Mhm.
once I finished that tour. And I said, well, gosh, the governor treats me well. He's compensating me well, but I need to go back to that other world because I had far more contacts. I can make a difference in the lives of soldiers and their families in that environment. And making that transition was a great thing because it opened up business opportunities for me. And even today, I'm called on to speak to young Americans, old Americans about my time, but more importantly, about uh, their journey
Mhm.
to their future. And I really enjoy doing that, and I get a chance to do it every now and then.
Hmm. I think you and I talked a couple of days ago because we see each other regularly, and we were talking about the age, the oldest a person can be who served. What is the oldest that a general can serve as in the military? Are you aware what that number is?
If I am not mistaken, I think it is about 72.
Wow.
There was a General Goodpasture
Hmm.
who served, but he had to be called back to duty after he retired. And I think it required some special approvals from the Congress to approve him to be the Chief of Staff of the Army. And he was a great leader. I remember hearing his story, and I think that is it. I just recently heard that the entry age has been increased in the Army. I think when I was before I transitioned, I think we raised that age to 39, I think,
Hmm.
or it's 39 now. So they continue to increase the age because there are a lot of Americans who want to serve,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that's what they want to do. And a lot of them required an increase in the age limit to serve. So that's what they've done, and it's great when I hear that there's still some out there who like to serve. And jokingly, I was on at a board meeting last month, and one of the other former generals said, "Hey, I don't want you all to get too shocked, but General Jones and I have just been recalled to active duty." And he looked around at them, and he decided, "Oh, I better call this joke off." So he said, "Hey, I'm only joking," um, and that's what happened. But age and the ability of the human spirit is so great
Hmm.
that we often do want to serve longer than the law requires. Initially, I think when I came in to get to be a colonel, you had a um, 26 year window in which to serve, and they tinker with it from time to time depending on the needs of the army.
Mm. You know, you talked about how times have changed. We've increased that age where people can come in and serve. What are your thoughts on this Me Too, gender identification slash receptive of people wanting to be who they aren't and still thinking they're entitled to serve? Me, I am totally against it. I love the fact that the military is the one entity who can discriminate, based on the factors we're talking about. I mean, handicapped people can't serve. Obviously, you have age limits and things of this sort. Talk about what you think as far as them widening this, or how can I say, lessening the requirement or being more receptive to things that aren't quite traditional. And you can say, sir, if you don't mind, what you think that is and what your thoughts are on it.
Well, I have my thoughts, and the thing that I ask every young American that I come in contact with
Mhm.
who may have the desire to serve or not have the desire to serve in most cases is I just talk about my experience. Uh, be all you can be is back in the Army's accession language now
Mhm.
for the Army. And it's a great thing. And I often tell young Americans that uh, just look, take a chance to look, to see if there is something in that military kit bag that you can use to better your life, but more importantly, better the lives of those around you.
Mhm.
And I think that is something that I enjoy telling. I enjoy telling my story, and I always ended with, "Hey, don't don't do what you think I would do. Do what you want to do, but at least give it a look, because I think if you give it a look, you
Mhm.
will find a great future, a great path ahead." And if you don't like it, guess what? There's always an exit ramp at the end of that enlistment period that you can decide it's time for me to exit.
Hmm.
So once you enter that world, by and large, most of us, we like it and we stay right there.
Hmm. There's various levels of professional military education within the military for professionals who've been in. It's analogous to CEUs and things in the civilian world, where people are constantly getting the sword sharpened and learning more. How much uh, and how far was your professional military education, and how much did it involve, without divulging any secrets, uh, worldwide climate and war and preventing those types of things?
Well, I thought when I went to the Army basic course,
Hmm.
I thought that I had achieved all I needed to achieve. However, I was so wrong. So I went to the Command and General Staff College, and they said that would be the best year of my life. And guess what? It really was the best year of my life. And the reason it was the best year is because you didn't have to get up and go to work every day. And you could spend more time with your family because often the families are left behind when we are asked to go and do things.
Yes.
And that year of rebonding with your family does make it the best year of your life. But educationally, the Army War College was indeed the best year of my life. I had a chance to mingle with international students. Never had I been able to help them understand this army that I serve
Hmm.
and why I serve. That education taught me many lessons that as I look at the things that are going on in this world right now, I said, man, they did not have the advantage of the education that I had. My education was grounded there to realize, probably for the first time, that I serve a constitution.
Yes.
So I went back, Doc, and I looked at all of my oaths of office, and I brought one with me to here today. And
Okay.
it grounds me, and I often go back to it. I go back to it because, Doc, it has it has the words that grounds every Army officer uh, and every enlisted. We're grounded in the Constitution. And
Absolutely.
that's what we swear allegiance to. And that education also taught me that there is a higher calling, that I, as a military person, realize that I fall under civilian authority. I'm not asked to do anything that's illegal, immoral, because that's not what I took an oath to do.
Right.
I took an oath to defend our nation against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And to this day, I often look back to that oath to see, number one, who signed it, what did I sign up to do, and
Hmm.
it's refreshing to know that that the education that I had just built up and built upon that oath of office. When I look back at the education, I look at, well, what is the military called to do? Uh, is the military out there, making decisions about what our country do and what we don't do? Absolutely not. We fall underneath the civilian authority. But what we are to do and are called on to do is to provide our best military advice. And in that educational realm, I was able to hone in some skills to look at uh, what is that device, what is that education, what does it lead me to do? And what it leads me to do is to follow, what is the military or the national objective? And I use that objective to go back to my team and recommend a strategy. And that strategy is a winning strategy. It's all based on the national strategy. And we like to say that we circle the wagons, we get all of our leaders together, and we develop a strategy. There are some great majors, great captains, iron colonels. They're all out there and they do the best they can. And all of them have education that leads us uh, to make those recommendations on, do we go left, do we go right, what formations do we use, what tools do we use, what sister services, assets should we use, should we be called upon to use. So education about our Constitution, education about the country's national strategy, uh, education about what's important in order to be successful. So you got to have a clear vision. You've got to have a clear end state as to what you do in order to be successful.
Mhm.
And our goal always is to fight and win our nation's wars.
Absolutely.
Whatever our leadership calls us to do, that's what we will do, and we'll do it very well.
Absolutely. Well, the thing I find great is that you mentioned the camaraderie you experience from other people from around the world who are in the military and within the United States, of course. And I think that there's a common denominator amongst all of us. You serve the military, and that's what you believe in. But let's take a quick break. We're going to come back and talk a little bit more about some local or current climate and some directions we could possibly take as a country. This is Dr. Robert Benson. I'm talking with Major General from the United States Army, retired Reuben Jones, and we'll be right back.
At the Good Day Good Health Store, we believe wellness isn't one size fits all. It's about movement, nourishment, mindset, and showing up for your life. Shop with purpose. Invest in your health. Visit gooddayhealthstore.com and start your next good day today.
Hey, we're right back. The RobCast Podcast. I'm Dr. Robert Benson, and conversations are grounded in truth. Right now, we're getting some military truth at a very, very high level with Major General Reuben Jones. Sir, when we left off, I was going to get you to talk a little bit about the climate right now in the world today. I know we are, in some estimations, maybe setting ourselves up to be spread too thin as a military. What are your thoughts on that? And what recommendations are you offering at this point?
Well, first of all, I don't think we are spread too thin. However, my recommendation is to make sure we get a clear, focused mission and what that end state is. It is very difficult to be the world's police person.
Yeah.
We have a lot of great capabilities. We have the greatest military in the world.
Amen.
However, I think that we must hone in and focus on what the mission and objectives are. Clear missions and objectives, because that's what the American people expect of us. And I think that's what our leaders expect of us, is to provide that military experience and recommendations to how we can help shape our nation's goals and objectives. So I think, I had a chief of staff in the Army. I said, sir, I think we're spread too thin. He says, we're not out of slits, Jones. We're not out of slits. And I said, sir, we might not be out of slits, but I tell you what, starting to get mighty thirsty. And I think that was an interview for me to be a general. And so I took a chance. I stepped out there and told him, I think we're starting to get thin. And shortly after that, we made some adjustments to our entry age in which you could enter the Army. Mm-hmm. We then doubled down on our requirement to go out and engage with the American public, to let them know that this is a worthy profession and that we were going to take care of our sons and daughters. We were going to train them well. We're going to make sure we keep them safe, give them the best equipment in order to do the jobs. I'm talking about some tremendously difficult jobs around the world. Because as you know, this world is a ever-changing environment. And we must be flexible and adaptive in order to be successful.
Now, again, I want to get you to dig a little deeper. Take off your general hat and put on the politician hat for a minute, bureaucrat hat. Do you think we're doing the right thing right now with this action we're taking in the Middle East? What is your thoughts on that? What are they?
Well, without having the intelligence that led to our current state of what we're doing in Iran, um, I'm at a disadvantage in order to answer that question directly. But what I can answer you to is that we have the best trained
Yeah.
military, best equipped military in the world. And we must take care of that resource because we need them. And we need to show the American public and the world this great gem we have in a military.
Yeah.
And that's our job. That's what we swore allegiance to do. And I think you can see, Doc, that's exactly what we're doing as a military. We're executing the orders that we were given,
Doing it
and we're
well.
doing it at a very, very efficient and high level.
Absolutely.
War, there is a bad side of war. And I had one of my old professors tell me the only bad thing about war, Jones, is that people have to die. And people do lose their lives, they lose their limbs, they lose their state of mind often
Mhm.
when we enter into these engagements. So our job as military leaders is to ensure that they are best equipped, best trained, to their very, very best ability to go out and do the monumental task. I mean, how do you go and take down a country in a couple of days and a few hours? Well, the U.S. military can do that.
Yes, we
We do
can.
it with a joint and combined force.
That's
We
right.
do it with best intelligence in the world, and that's what we do. And we deliver great results. The current environment, requires us to truly stretch ourselves to be bigger, better, faster, taller as we go out and execute these missions.
Hmm. Well, again, is we have this mindset that we don't need to know why we're doing it. We just need to know that we're supposed to, and that's where it seems like you're sticking to that kind of mindset. And you said you weren't really privy to all of the decision making data, so I'm gonna let it stay at that. So,
And
what's next,
from
right?
listening to much of the media's report,
Yeah.
Doc, a lot of other people are clueless as well
Mhm.
as to why we are doing what we're doing. But we do know we're doing from a military standpoint.
Yeah.
We know that we're doing what we're doing very well.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. But again, let me ask you a quick question off the cuff about this. One thing I love that the current president has done or has said he was going to do is have a parade and display our weapon systems. A lot of people have a problem with that. What do you think about that? I think it's great. How about yourself?
I have no objections to showing America what we pay for
Yeah.
with their hard earned dollars.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I know that some of the local governments disapprove of it because of the damage that it does to the roads and the streets. When you roll, those heavy artillery pieces, the tanks, you require the soldiers to do a flyover. I think every military likes a parade, and it's
Yes.
good to go out there and show off your stuff. But it comes at a cost, and in this time of cost avoidance, a lot of people think that it's not good. But I think it's good to show your wares.
Yes.
And I had a officer who I served with, and she's done very well. Uh, Major General Gant now. She
Mm-hmm.
was in charge of that parade.
Yeah.
Um, great officer, and sad to say, lately she's come under the scrutiny of the national press because of an article or two that has been written about the treatment of a black female as she went through her process. So, but Major General Gant, commander of MDW, is a great leader, and I think she's showing her wares and the experience that she has obtained I'm talking about a military engineer by trade. And she's out there swinging for the fences. She's getting triples, doubles, singles, and home runs.
Amen. Yeah. You mentioned something that I wasn't going to touch on, but it hasn't been the issue or the case or the conscience that it's been in the past. I remember when I came in, I don't want to date myself, we were still having what they call social action briefings, where you had to go and sit in the classroom and everybody was aware of each other's race and acknowledging that we had to accept people based on their race. We were to be this melting pot thing. Do you think that the consciousness of race, and I don't want to call them quotas, but we're making sure that everybody gets their piece of it, if you will. Do you think that that's even a factor or something that should even be discussed anymore?
Well, you had a lot of things loaded in that opening for this discussion here. First of all, I don't believe in melting pots. I'm a sociologist by education. But what I do believe in is the bringing together of a diverse force, understanding the cultures, understanding what motivates a soldier, understanding their cultural backgrounds. And I think this diversity has made us truly, truly a better force. Awareness of adversity, awareness of the things that I grew up with, coming from a predominantly African American environment, not having the advantages that many others had, but having that, again, as I go back from whence I started, having a great parental system to guide me and scold me and put me in the right direction. And above all, having that spiritual makeup that has kept me strong and focused and has taught me lessons that I cherish to this day. And I wake up every morning with prayers for our nation, for my siblings, for people that I see who are in need, who may not have the faith that I have. And all of that, Doc, has gone into making me who I am, what I am, how I lead. And if people know that about me, if they know my background, they would be a little bit more sensitive about the things that I might say or I might react to that they say. And I always try to ensure that I am sensitive to those things. How can I lead a soldier to go out and potentially give their life if I disrespect their cultural upbringing, their cultures, their mores, and the things that they grew up with that make them the individuals that they are? How can I do that if I don't understand the skills and the tenacity that they bring to this stage? You need to know your soldiers. They need to know you. And they need to be respectful of each other. We don't all have to get along, Doc. But if we're going to accomplish great things, we need to be challenged. We need to be respected of those things that we bring. I've worked for people who from Alabama that I have great relationships. I've worked from people from Louisiana, Wyoming, Omaha. And Doc, I was in that equal opportunity field for a short stint when I came in the Army. Early on in my Army career, I was in charge of the Equal Opportunity Office. And I think the Air Force, of course, to be different, they had a different name for it.
Yeah, we call it social actions. Yeah.
That's right, social actions. So you all have those pretty names. We call it Equal Opportunity. And we would go out and frankly get with people and to hear their stories. I remember I had a kid from Montana said in our little group opening, I have never seen in person a Black person in my life until I joined the Army. And I would hear that over and over again. And to see them sit there and tell their story in front of a diverse group of people, it lightens you up that, wow, the things that I heard about, yellow people, green people, pink people
Yeah.
are different. And they aren't what I heard in the media. They aren't what I heard from some of my ancestors. And they are good people,
Yes.
So just having that diversity of thought makes us better. Having that diversity in skills makes us better. And I think that it is always something good to have diversity. And I'm frankly a little bit disappointed that we have taken away some of the programs or watered them down because we need to know about these things as we attempt to lead young Americans who say, hey, I volunteer potentially to give up my life.
Yeah.
And I'd like to know who's to my left, who's to my right, and also who's behind me. And oh, by the way, I'd like to know who's leading me as well.
Exactly. At some point, I pray that we get to the point where we're saying we have a major general, not a black major general, not an oriental major general, not a female major general, but a major general who's leading. And that's the thing I really hope that we can get to at some point. But we are so diverse, as you mentioned, that we almost find ourselves having to make sure that we put that caveat out there, that every demographic is represented, so to speak. It almost forces us to a quota system, if you will. But I'm going to table that piece for now because we're going to talk again. I want to ask you something about keeping the numbers up, if you will. You talked about how the entry age has been increased to like 39, or I think it was 42 or something like that. Do you think that we'll get to a point where we may need to reinstitute the draft again? Conscription?
I wrote a paper about that, Doc, when I was at the War College.
Mm-hmm.
And I think my theme or thesis in that paper was we need a better strategy in order to recruit the next generation, because their desires are different, their aims are different, their upbringing is different, and we need a strategy that focuses on how to reach these Gen folks.
Yeah.
I talked to my son and daughter. My daughter, she came up with this thought that she did not believe in the Army, that they beat people. And I said, my dear, does your father come home beat up? Have you ever seen him beat up, bruised from when he's gone off to work and come back home? No, but I don't believe in it. I said, okay, but you live in a country that provides you all of these great things. Your father serves a nation that has provided you this home you live in, the cars we ride around in, the places we go. So you shouldn't get off. Now, my son, he didn't want to come in as well. But after attending Georgia Tech for, I think, 3 years, he decided to take a knee. And he looked at the Army. We were in the start or in the middle of the Gulf War. And he came to me and said, hey, Dad, I want to join the Navy. I said, took a deep breath, Doc. I went down the hallway in the Pentagon and I asked one of those recruiters, I said, hey, man, what's wrong, General? I said, I'm not feeling it today. He said, what's happening? I said, my son told me he wanted to join the Navy. He said, sir, give me his phone number and his name, and I'll take care of it. He went home, he came home, and he said, well, I'm going to the MEP station today. Mm. And he came home later that evening. He said, well, Mom, Dad sicked his boys on me because I'm in the Army now. So he joined the Army. He got the things that he asked for. Mm. Same thing. That the Army didn't tell him anything I wasn't telling him, Doc. Mm. But it came from someone other than me. And that's what it took to break through to him, that there were opportunities out there that he was leaving on the table, that if he didn't take advantage of it. I mean, this young man earned a full ride to Georgia Tech, room and board. And he said, they get up too early to go to this ROTC thing. He said, I can't get up early like that and go across campus, Dad. I said, what are you talking about, son? I do it every day. I've been doing it for well over 20 years. You can do it. But it took someone else explaining the programs, and that's why I don't teach. I don't attempt to tell people about all the programs because the Army. Getting back to your initial question of do we need a draft? The Army is always adjusting the levers at which we pull
Yeah.
in order to attract people and show them that this is a great opportunity for you. We're going to take care of you. We're going to feed you. We're going to pay you. And guess what? We can pay you better than anybody in the Army. And guess what? We're going to offer you over $1 million if you stay with us. That was one of the things they told me. I said, $1 million? Yep. You stay with us 20 years and we will guarantee you that you will get a lifetime of benefits that will exceed $1 million.
Yeah.
Oh,
If
man,
you
I
do the
can't wait to
numbers,
get down
yeah,
there and sign up.
yeah. If you do the numbers,
So we got to continue to communicate.
yeah,
At
absolutely.
all levels, pull the levers that we need to pull in order to show them the attractiveness of what we offer in the military. Not just Army, not just Navy, Marine Corps, whatever one fits you, whichever one you qualify for. And
Hmm.
I know the Air Force is a little different, Doc. I always have to, bring you all up. You want the very, 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 very best of the people who will
So they say.
serve and grow
Yeah.
up in America. But guess what? You have some things that require a different level of education.
True.
You require some skill levels that every service doesn't require, and you go out and you get them, and you're extremely successful and adaptable to the quality that you need. And the other services has different levels of requirements.
Hmm.
We go down and we say, hey, if you're willing to join, we can help shape you,
Exactly.
and we can help mold you, and we can help make you one of the greatest assets that our nation has.
Absolutely. You brought up a great point, and you talked about everyone working together. We're all a part of this pizza, if you will, each individual slice. Do you think that at some point, I know we tried to do this and we have done this with our uniforms, with our because everyone had their dress blues or the whites and whatever else you guys call them, but the utility uniform has pretty much been the same for all of the services. If you look at it like out in the field, like camouflage, everyone has the same camouflage uniform now. Do you think that at some point we'll get to the point where it's just one military that's broken down and specialized in all the different areas? Or do you think that each individual service will fight to maintain that identity?
Well, I go to your latter point. Each will attempt to maintain their identity, and I think most of the uniforms, Doc, are different. They're still different. I think the Navy's camouflage outfit, although I think I saw a sailor the other day who had one that was a little bit different. It depends on also where you serve,
Hmm.
the type of uniform. I think when it first came out, I think I saw the Navy have a blue utility uniform, bluish camouflage type uniform.
Hmm.
And Doc, I was in the Pentagon when this exact topic came up, and it centered around saving money. Congressional leaders said, well, why can't we have the same uniform? Well, you can. You really can. But it's going to take a lot of pushing and prodding in order to push everyone to that one dynamic uniform,
Right.
because the services are different. If that's the case, let's just go to one service, one uniform, one service. And there are a lot of people out there who would object strongly about it. And I say, hey, if that's what the nation needs and deserves and is willing to pay for, let us have a little diversity of service.
Hmm.
Um, Again, having a joint and combined service, knowing what the services do, because everybody has a special operations force, and
Yes.
guess what? They all talk about the same language.
Yes.
They all train jointly and combinedly because
Yes.
that's what it takes to win. Because good, everybody got a helicopter. Everybody doesn't have a jet, a combat fighter jet, but we do have some uh, assets that are similar but not the same.
Hmm.
So I think diversity, going back to our earlier conversation, I think diversity in the force and in the capabilities is a good thing. And if our nation says, hey, we need to go to some joint, guess what? Soldiers are going to salute the flag and we'll move out smartly. And those people developing the uniforms up at, I guess it's up in somewhere in Massachusetts, guess what? They can do it.
Yeah.
They can develop whatever you want. And I've seen them come and brief the Army leadership when I was in the Pentagon on the different uniforms, the different variations, and why they are what they are. And they've demonstrated they can do it. So whatever the nation requires, again, soldiers salute the flag and we move out smartly.
Yes, we do. You know, TV, movies, you name it, is fraught with quips and jokes and how we tease each other, that intense rivalry, if you will. But the one thing that we always manage to do is we go back to that common denominator where we are all to take care of one thing. I love this latest initiative about saying, hey, listen, when the Army and Navy play, we all going to watch. I don't have a problem with that at all.
Neither do I. I did for a long time because we didn't come out on the winning end. We didn't come out. I mean, it was a long stretch we had there, but we managed to sprinkle a couple of victories here and there.
Mm-hmm. Hey, well, sir, thank you. General, thanks for hanging out with me. Any closing thoughts you want to offer our audience?
Well, first of all, again, thank you very much for this opportunity to bring leaders and topics that we are aware of and have shaped in some fashion, bringing it to the forefront and the forethoughts of those who tune in. And I know that you're so dynamic, you're going to continue to bring in a diversity, of those who lead our military. You're going to bring in a diversity of thoughts because what Reuben Jones will think and offer a different flavor to many of the things based on what I've experienced over the years. So keep doing what you're doing, Doc. I applaud you in this effort to get people there. They won't all agree with the things that you say or I say, but that's why we're talking.
Amen.
And that we're communicating so that we can hear a different side. A lot of people say, what news? Do you listen to MSCNN? I say, yep. Do you listen to MS Now? I say, yep. Wow, is that where you get your news from? I say, well, I also listen to Fox.
Mm-hmm. Everything.
Because I want to know what everybody is saying and what they're leaving out.
Yeah.
So that Reuben Jones can make his own decision about, is that right? Is that wrong? Do I support that as a person? And that's why we need the diversity that you bring to your program. And I just applaud and salute what you're doing, and continue to carry on.
Yes, sir. I was going to salute you. You beat me to it. But thank you for joining us.
Hey, the Army always does.
Hey, thanks, sir. We'll talk to you real soon.
All right. Cool.
All right. That was the great General Retired Reuben Jones, a guy who I can come to at any time and get any kind of information. There's nothing else to say. I'm American, true and blue. I support whatever we do. It's been a RobCast Podcast, and we'll talk to you next time.
Thank you for watching the RobCast Podcast. Be sure to subscribe, like, share, and comment. Don't forget to turn on notifications for all new weekly episodes.
Come on, somebody. Put your hands together right now. And let's give God the highest praise on today. See, the Bible tells us in the book of Psalms, I will bless the Lord at all times, and his praise shall continually be in my mouth.
Lift your hands up, pray with me. God's been good to me. He's been so good to me. Don't want no rising for me. I'm a present just as long as to be.
I've been running for a while, and I get tired sometimes, and I stop to unwind, but
give my life to you. Use me, Lord. There is no one like you. No one can do what you do. I put my trust in you. Use me, Lord. Precious Jesus, take my hand, lead me on, Lord, let me stand. Forgive me for straying away so long. Hold me, keep me from doing wrong. Oh, in your hand I put my life to be used. Have your way, Lord. My trust is in you. Use me. For your servant. Oh, Lord. Use me. I love you. 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 For who you are, forever and ever and ever. For who you are, you've been my friend down to the end, and I love you, Lord, for who you are, and then I praise you. I praise you for what you've done for me.